I have a joke for you this morning before we kick off this video. Why couldn't the avid reader visit the world's largest library? Because it was overbooked. Hello friends, happy Wednesday. So excited that you're here. Sorry for that cringeworthy joke. I couldn't even, I was like, I have to share this because it's just so cringy because we're having another Top 5 Wednesday prompt. Very excited for this one. But in case if you're not familiar with Top 5 Wednesday, in a nutshell, basically each week I answer a prompt using 5 books. But in this case, I do manga to reflect the said prompt. And today's prompt is comedy. We are talking about manga that make you laugh and that you love and enjoy because it makes you laugh. I realized I don't have a lot of manga that I think are like purely comedy, and I was sort of surprised because I really enjoy humor in manga, and I feel like a lot of manga titles that have humor but are not labeled actually in that genre of comedy. But I'm really excited for the ones that I did pick. I have a new one in here that I'm really excited to talk about because I definitely feel it is one of my new favorites for this year, which was really surprising, but I will talk more about that in just a moment. I'm still trying to cope with that cringy joke. It makes me laugh. I don't know what that says about me. Hopefully though, it made you guys laugh too. But let's go. Oh, let me pause. In case if you haven't already, be sure to check out last week's video. Enter my giveaway that I'm hosting. It still has another week and a half, I believe. I'm giving away 4 different manga titles that you can enter to win. The giveaway is open internationally. Now let's get into actually this video here. So for number 1, I am going to feature Otome. I have not finished reading this series, but last night or yesterday, I was chatting with my friend Mariah and I was telling her about this series because she had mentioned, oh goodness, it's the other series by this manga creator and it's like the complete opposite. Like this is all sunshine and rainbows and that looks like it's all like darkness and turmoil and a lot of angst. And yes, this really is by the same creator, despite that the covers look so vastly different, that the genres themselves are very different. But I was telling her about Otome and I loved what I read last year. I think I read volumes 1 through 5 or 1 through 6. And what I enjoyed about this so much is that the gender roles are completely flipped on its head. Like our main guy here, he loves girly things, so to speak. He loves sewing, he loves plushies, stuffed animals, and he loves just bright colors and whatnot. But he has the, I guess you'd say the persona and how he looks is very masculine. He loves this one girl very much. He's deeply head over heels for her and he wants to win her heart. But he feels like because he loves these girly things, like right here it says things that girls like the fluffy, the sparkling, the cute, the sweet, cooking, sewing, love stories. He loves all of those things, but they're like, you're a boy. And even I feel like today, because I don't know when this manga was written because it's an older title, but I still feel like we have expectation or that gender norm that boys cannot like those things. They have to be like how he is, I guess you'd say now, where he does some kind of martial arts. He's very, like, so just very masculine and very buff. He's very cool and aloof, but deep down again, he just loves girly things. Sorry, that was quite the ramble. I feel like I apologize. But that's why I love this series because I think it's okay that he loves those things. And I think it's very heartwarming to see him pursue his passion, though not necessarily at first, but that's part of the story is him slowly realizing it's okay that he likes these things. There's nothing wrong with him. And he definitely has some amazing encouragement from his, I think this is basically like his best friend. And this girl is so funny because she is like not your typical girl, and I say typical with quotes, in that she is horrible at cooking, she doesn't like a lot of feminine things, she is incredible at martial arts herself and has been raised in a very strict masculine home. But she's so kind and I absolutely love her. So I feel like this is really funny because it's flipping those gender norms. Like you have one young man who loves doing makeup, but he is very similar to our main hero here, where he does some kind of form of martial arts and everybody's like, you're so amazing, but deep down he's like, I just want to go do makeup and be a makeup artist one day. But their families discourage them from pursuing those kind of dreams. And so I hope that, because it's a romantic comedy, because the romance is so wholesome and I love it so much. When I was sharing my friend Mariah yesterday, I was like, I need to catch up on this series because it was such an enjoyable read. I laughed a lot. I smiled a lot. There seems to be more characters that are being added to the cast, but it doesn't feel overwhelming. I really enjoyed the writing and the art style. So this was such an enjoyable experience for me. And I hope that that comes across well. And I'm still like, why haven't I finished it? But my goal actually is to read the whole series before the year ends because I enjoyed it so much. And Alex, I don't know why I stopped reading last year, but I'm definitely going to fix that. So I would definitely recommend this series if you're looking for a shoujo manga that flips all those gender norms on their head with lots of great humor and some really wholesome, sweet, slow burn romantic moments. It is so sweet and I need to see how it's going to end. For number 2, as soon as I saw this on my shelf, this is like one that has to be featured. It is one of my all-time favorite manga, and that is Play It Cool, guys. I love these characters so much. I have probably read this volume alone 4 to 5 times. I love them, and I've read all the other volumes at least twice because I love these guys. They're just so funny. It's fully colored, and it makes it even better because it is fully colored. So don't ask me who my favorite guy is. I feel like it changes every volume, but I really love him. I'm blanking on his name this morning because I forgot to look it up, and it's Hayate, and I'm like, how can I not remember? Especially since I had a emote made for the channel memberships, and I'm like, I did Hayate, I did him. Anyway, sorry. I wish I was better with names, but Hayate probably is my ultimate favorite because he's so sweet, he's so adorable, and he gets so embarrassed so easily, and I'm like, you're just adorable. But all of the guys are really, really great. I love even the latest guy that has come to our group here. He is just as amazing, and they all, when they get together, they have so many shenanigans, and I really love just how they're able to encourage each other because Hayate is a great example. He gets really embarrassed by his goofs, but then his senpai that he really admires and looks up to really encourages him that he can be a high-functioning adult in society, even with his goofs. Seeing how his senpai responds to his goofs is something else because he just doesn't respond. He does not respond. It's the people around him that actually respond. So I love all of them. This is one of my happy, fluffy manga. It's not really, I guess it is fluffy because it's very episodic. It's not really to the later volumes that things sort of have more of a plot to it, but it's still very episodic, and just the daily lives of these guys as they have silly goofs and how they're sort of dealing with those goofs because of how they feel that they should be handling them, but they're not handling them that way that they want to, or maybe they're handling them but they really just don't care, and so they encourage the people around them considering their goofs. It is just a wholesome and wonderful story. I adore it so very much, and I'm like, you know what, it is time for a reread because I just cannot get enough of them. I really can't. Every single time it just makes me so happy. They make me laugh more often than not. Honestly, you're just here seeing these adorable guys make these goofs. That's the whole premise. There's nothing else more to it except for all of, I was going to say the wholesome fluffy vibes, but I've said that so much already. But I love this. I can't recommend it enough. I do have a video review of volume 1. I do have volume 2 as well. At one point when this series wraps up, I will do another review because that is just how much I love this series. I want everybody to read it and just have as much happiness as I do from this wonderful comedy. It is so good. I can't get enough of it. For number 3, this was another manga that I knew I definitely wanted to feature, and hopefully people won't get upset about it. It is an HCAT manga, but I love it so very much, and that is Takane and Hana. This has to be one of the funniest manga titles or series I have ever read. I laughed so incredibly much when reading this. There is like a brief mini arc where there is some sadness and there's no humor, and it was very moving and definitely one of the parts I got really emotional at, but it is so good. More often than not, Takane and Hana really reminded me of me and my husband because my husband always, he's not a prankster, but he's always trying to just do little jabs. They're not mean though, but they're like, okay, a great point is I love Hinata from Haikyuu. He is my favorite character, and he will be like, X character is better than Hinata, or he's like, I'm more of a Haikyuu fan than you because I'm rewatching the anime, and he does these things to get me triggered, and I'm just like, you know, Laura, if you didn't respond, you wouldn't get triggered. And so a lot of that banter remind me of Takane and Hana, but Hana absolutely slays. I'm like, girl, I wish I could have comebacks, witty comebacks jokes like she does in this manga all the time, because I'm like, I would feel so much more satisfied and wouldn't be nearly as triggered as I usually am. Because like my husband means it in good humor and whatnot, and I feel like most of the time Takane does as well. But Takane, there's no other character like Takane. He is such a hoot. I can't get enough of his actions. I do have a review of this series if you'd like to check it out, but I love it. It is a gem in my collection. I do not talk about it nearly enough, but honestly, if you don't take this series seriously, because like I said, there is the age gap, and you just appreciate it for what it is, it will be one of the most funniest reading experiences you will have. Recently saw quite a few friends were buddy reading it, and I loved hearing them all glow and about the series and just how funny it is, because it truly is like you're living for those moments of seeing who is going to outwit the other, who is going to have the better banner and win this so-called fight of this banterness, I guess you would say. Like, that is exactly what you're here for. I mean, I definitely like the romance. It was not my favorite part though, in the sense that I'm here for the humor. Like, this is a legit comedy that I, again, could not get enough of. The expressions, especially Takane's expressions, are gold. Like, there's just nothing like this manga that I have read where, I mean, now don't get me wrong, there have been plenty of other good humorous manga, okay? But when it comes to this series and how much I laughed and how of an enjoyable of a time I had, how, again, it does not take itself seriously, it's on another level. It is on another level. I love it. I really do need to go back and reread it. When I read it this the first time, I was having a really hard week. I don't know what was going on with my body, but I was having a lot of headaches. I felt really down, but I didn't know why I was feeling down because there wasn't really any triggers. And I read this series with, I think it's 18 volumes, not including like the little mini bonus one shot. I read this volume or this series, I think in like 3-4 days. It brought so much happiness to my life that week. It truly, you're here for the humor. You are here for the humor and seeing the banter between these two. It is so enjoyable. I can't recommend it enough. Like I said, if you don't mind an age gap manga and you need something that is very, very funny, this series is it. It delivers in every single way. So very good. So very good. For number 4, this is one of my recent pickups as of not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, and that is Last Game. I tried this when it first came out and I could not get into it. I was really bummed because everybody was glowing about how amazing this series is, and then I tried it and I'm like, I cannot get into this. But then my friend ProfOtaku, he mentioned it in one of his videos that I recently watched, and I went to Second and Charles with my family. I saw they had it there. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try this. I didn't even like flip through it. I just picked it up and grabbed it because we were literally like leaving the aisle to go check out, and I was like, oh, just gonna grab it, put it in here with my husband's manga because he had grabbed a whole bunch. Then I read it that night, and it was hilarious. Surprised me in so many ways with how funny it is. It's from the main perspective of this guy here. His name's Yanagi. The way that he thinks to beat this young woman because she beats him in everything that involves academics. He's always number 2, and he sort of gets this idea that he's like, okay, she may be beating me in academics from like, I think it was like elementary school up to literally high school, okay? Like, he's been in second place that entire time. But somewhere in, I think it was high school, I believe it is, or middle school, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna make her fall in love with me, and then I'm gonna break her heart, and I will be the ultimate winner of this whole situation. How that makes up for all the other times he's lost, I don't know. But the thing is he declares this internally, right? But then he falls in love with her, and she does not know. And it is just, it is gold. It is so funny with these things that are unfolding because he's like, I'm gonna get the upper hand today. I'm going to be the one that wins. She's just like not falling for any of his traps, so to speak. There's this one situation where he's like, okay, I don't know why I'm getting so bent out of shape about this, that she keeps beating me. He's like, everybody else loves me because I'm attractive, I have money, and I'm cool. She bumps into him at the hallway and he's like, yo, what's up? And she's like, oh, hey, Yanagi. hey, like, how are you? Like she didn't remember who he was for a second. And then he gets so irate internally, like, how could she not remember me? And then we're going tumbling down the hill again of this humorous story of him just falling deeper in love with her, even though he's still trying to beat her, and he's failing so strongly. He's failing, but yet he keeps trying. The ending of this volume, not with the short stories, because there's like 2 really long ones that are included, but the actual ending of this first volume was absolute perfection. I think it's one of my favorite endings that I have read recently. Like, it was the perfect place to stop this volume. I honestly feel like because of how much I laughed and how much this surprised me in the humor, it is going to be in my top 10 of favorite shoujo manga that I've read this year. I've already bumped it to my top 5 of series that are ongoing that I have to pre-order, that like there can be no kind of delay, because that's just how much it surprised me and how funny it is. So I think if you like a rivals to lovers kind of story with plenty of great humor, this manga is one to check out. Volume 2 just came out, I think last week. My volume 2 should be here today, and I'm really, really excited because I'm definitely gonna be reading it. Yes, highly recommend this for a comedy romance that I just can't wait to see where it goes. For number 5, I almost feel like I need to apologize in advance, because if everything else that I've recommended is really sweet, we got some wholesome vibes, this one is not. But I love it. Volume 3, I just reread this morning, but that is no longer heroine. This is a dumpster fire times 10. You are not going to find any likable characters in this manga, which probably sounds really bad because it's like, well, why are you still reading it, Laura? And that is just because of how funny our main girl, Hattori, is. Her expressions, the way that she handles situations is absolutely hilarious. I'm like, I am just here to see Hattori see what bad decisions she is going to make, because as the manga has unfolded, literally it has gotten worse. It has not gotten better in this sense where, like, I felt like with volume 2, I was like, oh good, you know, she's going to change. Volume 3, no. Nope. Nope and nope. I think if you do not like dumpster fire kind of manga, with some people have said the main characters are toxic, I don't feel they're necessarily toxic, but they make really bad decisions. Really, really bad decisions. And so, yeah. But going back to the expressions, it is so hilarious. I love the expressions of this manga. I find a lot of things that take place really funny. Volume 3 had me cringing more than anything, and it was not quite as humorous because of that cringe, but I'm still keeping at it. I'm still keeping at it because I'm like, I need to see what is going to happen with these characters. I guess this is more of like, if you need a humorous dumpster fire, everybody says it really is. So just be forewarned, but I love this series and I'm invested and I need to know where things are going to go, and I need to see more of Hattori's hilarious expressions, because Hattori, you never know what kind of face she's going to make, but you know it's going to be a funny face when she does make it. For my honorable mention, maybe I actually should have switched it up and did No Longer Heroine as the honorable mention, because this series is very, very wholesome and very wonderful. So many of us love it, rightfully so, and that is My Love Story. This is a perfect romance comedy. It is so good. It is so good. I promise I will have my video review coming out at some point. I don't know when, but I deeply loved this series, say this romance, this manga, all of it. I really love how we have a trio of characters. And Takeo, he has to be one of the sweetest, most precious, wholesome characters, shoujo male heroes that I have ever read about. He is amazing. And Tsunakawa, I love him. I love him. I definitely, well, I don't know how much, no, I got his name wrong in one of the videos where my kids quizzed me on my collection, and I was so heartbroken that I got his name wrong. But I remember our main girl though. I remember her name, and that's Yamato, because I forgot it for that video, or didn't remember it during that video. And I'm like, well, I won't forget it now. But it is a very beautiful romance. There is so much wholesome vibes to this, but this is another manga that has really funny expressions, and I don't know, I'm trying to think of what exactly makes this story funny. It's definitely the situations, because Takeo, he has never had a girl like him. They all seem to like Sunakawa. He has a crush on this young woman. He helps save her from, well, he's saving her in this situation too, but he also helps save her from a really horrible situation on the train, and she wants to get to know him. Takeo thinks, well, she probably just likes Suna, but he really genuinely loves this girl, and it's their love story, and it is so sweet. It's so funny. Again, I'm trying to, is it the expressions? Is it the expressions that make it so funny? I feel like there's some situations too that are really, really funny as well, but this is such a joy of a series to read. I love Takeo and Suna's friendship. It is one of the best friendships I've ever seen in manga. I adore their bromance so much. It honestly, one of my favorite parts, look at this, look at this. One of my favorite parts of the manga, hands down. But do not be deceived if it's like, how could you ship this kind of unshoujo-like male hero with our very sweet shoujo-like hero? Do not be deceived. Your heart will be captured by him. He is so precious, and his personality is so heartwarming and so fierce and strong, and he's amazing, okay? He is amazing, and I love this story. I really need to set a date of editing that video of this review of this series so more people can check it out. I know a lot of us have, but if you have not, please go read it. You will have a blast reading this story. I laughed so often. I felt all of the butterflies. It is a very moving and touching story that I absolutely loved. What's really cool too is my husband actually read this manga before me. He watched the anime twice, back to back. He watched it, and then he's like, hey, we need to get the manga. I was like, I have all of it, so don't worry. And he read it all before me, but now this year I read it. I'm like, why did I wait so long? Why did I wait so long? Because this is a series I will definitely come back to if I need some laughter and just being cheered up, because these characters are so very wonderful. And that, my friends, wraps up all my picks for comedy manga that I have read and would definitely strongly recommend if you need some humorous stories in your life. These are all very amazing for different reasons, though most of them are because they're very funny and wholesome. Can't recommend them enough, but I would love to hear from you, friends. What are some manga that you have read that have made you laugh, whether they are a comedy or not? I would love to hear from you, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!